You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building who helped my life out and saved me when I needed some help.
Well, let's see if you can pronounce her name.
Jeanne Kelly.
Is
She's
that
in
right?
the building.
That's correct.
Okay,
Jeanne
good.
Kelly.
Now, let me tell you what happened. I was actually trying to buy a home, and something got on my credit that knocked my score down 100 points.
What was it?
It was actually two things. One, I left Verizon and I went to AT&T, and Verizon was supposed to pay the rest of the bill, and they didn't. And that was on my credit report. And
Wait, AT&T was supposed to pay the Verizon
AT&T
bill?
was supposed to pay the rest of Verizon, and they didn't. And also, my daughter got a medical bill, and it didn't come to my house. It went to another property,
Yikes.
and I never seen it. But it came up on my credit, and it knocked my score down 100 points, and it was messing with the loan that I was trying to get. So I called Jeanne. A friend of mine gave me her number. Yeah, I've never met her. This is the first time I'm actually meeting her.
Yeah.
And she looked at my credit score, and she said, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try to make this work. I said, I need it done in about a week, 2 weeks. And she said, MV, I'm going to try my hardest. And she was able to jump my score 140 points.
Yes.
140, 150
In
points.
1 week?
In about 10 days, 12 days.
How many free tickets you promised her for that?
I had to pay for it. It was a service. It wasn't free. I paid
okay.
for
Well,
it.
that's incredible because you always see all these ads on TV like, oh, fix your credit score.
Yes.
And people say that you can't really.
You can, because just like he said, one was a medical bill and he wasn't properly notified.
Right.
So it wasn't like he wasn't going to pay it. He didn't know about it. So once he found out about it, we made sure it was paid, and then they removed it from the credit report.
So you can pay a bill that's old and they'll just remove it?
No, they just won't do it automatically, but if there's a reason. And
Okay.
we definitely had a lot of information that it was incorrect
Like
for
that's
him.
not his address.
Correct.
Now, Jeanne has connections. Like, she made things happen. I don't know. She was like, I'll get in touch with the credit bureaus. I was like, oh, they have a number? Like, she got connections and got it done. Now, a lot of people, they don't know about their credit. So for people who are just starting off, how can they make their credit great? How can they make their credit good?
Well, the first thing is pay attention to it. So you should get your credit report. That
Right.
would be the number one thing. And you can have a credit report and it doesn't affect your score. People think if they pull their credit report, it's going to drop their credit score, but that's not the case. So you can get one at annualcreditreport.com for free.
For free.
For free.
Annual credit.
And
.com.
is that you get it free once a
Annual credit
year?
report.
Is that
You
how it
get
works?
once a year, but there's 3 credit bureaus. So you want to check all 3 for a baseline. And then from there, every year, check in. I even say, if all of a sudden you get an alert, a lot of the credit card companies now give you your FICO score.
Yeah,
These
American
are
Express
beautiful
does that.
things. Yeah.
And this is real credit, not street cred, you dumbass kids, okay? You can't buy anything with street cred.
Now, I was just telling our intern because she was telling me that she doesn't have a credit card. She was like, I didn't want to get a credit card. She's in school. But I was like, well, a credit card is good because if you don't have any credit, that's actually probably worse than having bad
That's right.
credit.
Yeah, because you have you'll have no score. So definitely using credit in a healthy way is a great thing. You can get automobile loans at a low rate or the mortgage that DJ needed, whatever it may be.
DJ.
But also,
Hey, DJ.
but it's something important to think about. And when
Right.
you're young, you should definitely be using your credit by obtaining credit cards.
My credit was a mess when I was in college. I had a bunch of credit
I was
cards.
too.
I made $6.25 an hour, so I
Yeah.
couldn't even pay them. I was buying everything. I wasn't even opening the bills. A lot of us have that syndrome of, I know I don't have money like that, so I'm just not going to open the bill at all, and they just
Yes.
pile up.
And that's the thing. So if you're listening and that's you today, the most important thing is paying attention. You can start today to rebuild your credit. And, paying attention to it is key. And even if you've been paying your bills late and there's collections, but if you ignore it, it's just going to stay negative. So if you at least say, okay, I'm going to pay attention. As of today, I'll make sure I pay everything on time. Then the next goal, let me try to bring down those credit card balances, because that's going to help your credit score.
Now, what about doing things like transferring your balance to a different credit card that has no interest for, say, a year?
Yeah, that's fine. But again, every time you open up a new account, it's going to dip your score. So it's all about timing. When should you do that? I would never say go get a new credit card before wanting a mortgage, because you want to make sure your score is at its highest level.
Now, explain what the credit to debt ratio is, because a lot of people don't know what that is. And I recently had to find out that if you owe a lot of money or you owe a credit card a lot of money, but you don't have credit, that affects your score crazy.
Yeah, well, part of the FICO score, and I mentioned the FICO score because 90% of lenders use the FICO
Now, explain
score.
what a FICO score is, because people will be like, what's your credit score? What's a FICO score?
Credit score, right. So it's scoring your credit reports, and the FICO score is what 90% of lenders use. So it's a credit score. It's just called the FICO.
Right.
It's my favorite four-letter F word.
What is
Okay.
it?
You
know,
What does it stand
so-
for?
That's Charlemagne's. What's your favorite four-letter F word, Charlemagne?
That doesn't have an
Oh,
F,
F.
idiot.
My bad.
Forget it. Go ahead.
So anyway, so 90% of lenders use it, and 30% of your score is based on balances.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're maxed out, if you lower those balances, you're going to see your score go up
Immediately?
as soon as the balance gets updated. So it may take 30 days, but it doesn't. You're in the,
She
step
got
in the
it
right
done
direction.
in about 10 days. 30 days, she got it done in 10 days. Now, explain to the people, because I was confused about this too, that there are different scores that people look at. Like a mortgage company looks at this score, a auto loan looks at this score, and then a regular credit card looks at this score. Like, why are there so many different scores?
Listen, 90% of lenders, though, look at FICO. But here's the thing. There's 21 versions of FICO. So you have to, I mean, bottom line, pay attention to your FICO score. And they just have them for different purposes. Like if you're going for a mortgage, they may be making it a stronger score, something harder because it's a larger loan. Right. But there's millions of scores out there. You'll hear of all of these. My credit score is this. Then I went to the bank. It was a different score. That's why I always say pay attention to your FICO because that's what lenders look at.
If my credit score is like in the 300s, should I even try or should I just give up
Of
on
course
life?
you should try.
Okay.
It should be actually really easy to raise that if
I have
it's
a
that
friend
low.
whose credit score is in like the 300s.
No.
I don't know 300.
Is he out here?
I have never seen. I can help, but I mean I have
Look out
never
in that
seen.
lobby. Which one you think
That's
it
him
is?
right there.
Which
I
one-
don't know.
which
They
one
all
you
look
think?
fabulous.
Don't stereotype, but just which one you think
Big
it is.
black guy with the dread.
Listen, I got into this industry because I had bad credit. So
okay.
I know everybody's feelings. It's an emotional thing.
Right.
When you feel trapped, I had my daughter. I couldn't get an apartment to rent because my credit was so bad. I had a car that was breaking down that I was wondering, how am I going to do this? I was a poor waitress, just trying to make ends meet. And after I took years to figure out the credit system and how to rebuild my credit, I opened up this
Like, I
company
wanna
to
help
help
other
other
people.
people. Yep.
Now, what
I
if
never
you-
want them to feel this way.
What if you co-sign for somebody
Yes.
and they don't pay? What can you do about that?
Co-signing, I wish they would just stop calling it co-signing and just joint, because it's a joint account. It's, it doesn't matter if it's an ex-boyfriend, if it's your child, your husband, whoever it may be, you are jointly responsible for that account. So as soon as that account hits your credit report, it's going to report if they pay it late. So I say, if you are going to help someone, then make sure the bills are coming to you. So this way you would know if something is going to be late, so you'll pay it. So it won't hit your credit report. And basically, don't co-sign unless you have the money to pay it.
Right.
Because
If they don't pay it.
Don't co-sign for your boyfriend that you might
No.
not be with later.
But
'cause
what
he-
if it's good?
Say penis. please.
Charlamagne-
Penis, I'm sorry.
Well,
My
Charlamagne, then
goodness.
you can co-sign for him
Yeah.
if it's that good.
Now, what about bankruptcy? Can you take bankruptcy off the credit?
you can't take bankruptcy.
Cannot.
You really cannot.
So all the people that say they can do it, that's a lie.
Well, I mean, I really don't think. I like to build healthy credit the real way. And if you had a bankruptcy, it's okay. That it's okay. You can rebuild. If you do nothing with your credit after the bankruptcy because you're afraid of it, then your score's gonna stay low for a while. But if you immediately go out there, go get 2 secured credit cards. They could be for $100 limit each. Within 24 months, your score will be in the 600s again.
Wow.
So you have to pay it again. It's
So
just
tell Wax to
it's,
go get them
it's
credit-
knowing
secured
what
credit
to
cards.
do.
And what about child support?
Well, if you're late and it gets reported, it's on there.
Is there any way to get that off?
Yeah, if you get current, it depends on the situation, but it really just depends.
Now, I'm
What's the
going to tell you
fastest way to build credit?
The fastest way would be definitely going to get those credit cards. You can also become an authorized user on someone's account. Now, that's not joint. That means like I can put my daughter on, my secretary, it doesn't matter.
I send you a card.
And
you can use
that account actually goes on their credit report.
Okay.
And it goes on their credit report the date I opened it, not the date I'm opening it for them. So they get all of my history for that one account on
Oh,
their
wow.
credit report. So at the moment, I'm talking about this now because it's still working. So that's one way to quickly.
But that can hurt too, because that happened with me. When I was in college, I was on my mom's credit card, and I was on my mom's credit card till what?
Oh, that's right.
2 weeks ago. And
What?
I didn't
You've been
even
on
know.
your
You've been on
mama's
your
titty for a
mom's
long
credit
time.
card all this
I'm glad
time?
you finally got off your
This
mama's
is
breast,
ridiculous.
bro.
Yeah, I didn't know though.
You should be ashamed
I
of
didn't
yourself.
know.
Oh my
But- so
goodness,
I had-
Envy, you are a grown man
Grown
with
ass
5
man
children.
getting breastfed still.
Why are you on your mom's credit
I
card?
didn't know I had to come off of it because her credit was part of my credit, and that was too much credit, so I had to get off of it.
Just that one account. Yeah. And then once he got off, because let's say that had a high balance, then that helped him. So it can help, it can hurt. It's just, that's a quick thing. But
Okay.
I mean, honestly, you can get your credit score quickly raised by getting new healthy credit. It doesn't matter if it's a secured card. People are like, oh, I really don't want it. As long as it is a major creditor and it'll go on all 3 credit reports.
Like the Rush card?
Like that card or Capital One's or, Chase, any major company, as long as they report to all 3 bureaus, within a few months, it's going to help your score.
That's what helped me out a lot.
Yeah, of course.
What's that? The rush card?
I never had a rush card, but getting a what they call secured credit card.
So you
yeah.
put the money in the bank, and again, people get fixed on how much should it be? Should I try to put away $1,000? It doesn't matter. If it's $100 and you use it once up to $100, then bring it back down and try to never use it over. Try to only use $20 on it per month, because then it's showing consistency. It shows that you went up high once, and that was your limit. And maintain
and talk
healthy
to the bank
credit.
about putting you on auto pay so you don't miss no payments and be
You
late.
should do that with your cell
Yeah.
phone.
I should, but I'm not.
Now, what about talking to your significant other about their credit? Say
Yeah.
you're in a situation, it's a hard thing for people to discuss. People are embarrassed
Yeah.
if they don't have good credit. How do you approach a situation like that?
It is important to talk about right away, because I feel like in a relationship, you kind of have to know, especially if it's going to the next step. So sometimes if you just both bring out your credit reports, I know it sounds so crazy, but I mean, if you do ask someone, how much do you make for a living?
Right. Do you
How
have
much
any
money do you have?
STDs?
Do you have any STDs?
There you go.
If I can show you my HIV/AIDS results, I can show you my credit
It's in my
report.
credit, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an important thing. We all know that financial problems are a big issue with divorce and issues in a relationship. So I think talking about credit in a healthy way and just saying, it's okay, because a lot of times people feel so bad. And
Right.
of course, I know I felt that way. And, but we all get stuck in a situation we might not, we lost our job. Nobody wants to not pay their bills,
Right.
So something happened. And so just figure it out. But if you start talking about it with your partner and you realize, okay, that I have good credit and he doesn't, then help him.
Now,
And work on it.
I get these alerts, right, that I signed up for. Is it even worth it? Where every month they tell me if there's anything that goes on my... I get
Absolutely,
that
it's
alert.
worth
It's like
it.
$7 a month.
I get them like
but
every
do-
3 days. How about that?
Oh.
Every 3 days it tells me
You
if it
must have
goes
had
up,
some
goes
issues.
down.
Your credit?
Oh, yeah.
I get that too.
Every 3 days.
Okay.
Or
I have
it on my
every
email.
other day.
I don't know if it's every other day, but I get it very often.
Yeah. I mean, to me, if you're too busy, it's a good thing, because all of a sudden we live in a world where there's a lot of data breaches and a lot of identity theft. So if you can alert, oh, this account was just opened in your name and you didn't do it, the best way to resolve something like that is quickly. So I think it's a fabulous thing to monitor your
Now,
credit.
is it true that if you don't pay a bill and something bad is on your credit report, it just goes away in 7 years so you don't have to pay it?
Well, it can come off your credit report in 7 years, yes, but that doesn't mean you're not responsible for the debt. They can still come after you for the debt. It's just not on your credit report.
Oh, well, then who cares?
Can't think like that.
How important is credit though? Because a lot of people think cash is king, and like I used to follow Susie Orman, and she used to always say, "Don't spend credit on anything. If you don't have the money for it, don't."
I
do it."
agree, not to go crazy with your credit, but I just feel like we live in a world. I would never be able to own my house without having a mortgage. So I
Gotcha.
just feel like we need it. And not only just for the fact of these big ticket items or an automobile loan, even sometimes employers look at your credit, not your score, but your report. So it's like, I don't want to lose out on a job because of my credit. And we can all get control of it. Even if you're right now listening and you're having bad times, you can change that. You can change it today by focusing on it and it really is just a little bit of work and you'll start feeling good about it.
How easy is it to do your credit? Because Angela did hers herself.
I did mine myself.
I couldn't.
But I didn't have a lot of bad
I
things
was
on mine. I
impatient.
had a Saks bill that was 30 days late because I just forgot to pay it, and it was 4 years ago.
Okay, so it's not that
yeah, they took
damaging.
it off though.
That
is it
was
easy
good.
to do? Is it easy to do, or is it difficult?
It takes
and
a long. It
time-consuming?
just takes time. It's tedious.
Yeah, and that's why I have a lot of programs where I'm like, with a classroom, always reminding you, did you do this next, step by step, easy process. So instead of going round and round and not knowing what to do, because a lot of the problems I had when I was working on mine in the beginning is, you take 5 steps forward and then you're going backwards 10 because you didn't realize something you did wrong. So it just depends. But I think that it is very easy once you know what you're doing.
Right.
It's kind of like a recipe.
Right.
Once you know how to make something and you have that recipe there,
There's
it's
a lot of
easy.
credit scammers out there. A lot of people that say they'll fix your credit. They take people's
Right.
money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that
then
is
they'll
something
fix
you
it.
have to be careful of, because
No, you
I
do.
always hear stories about people that you pay this money and then your credit doesn't even change.
No, because when I posted a little picture of you and you fixing the credit, people was like, "Oh, that's fake." But I told people I
It really works
never
for you.
I never met
Yeah.
her. I paid her and she did it. And I'm like, people always ask me, "How do you get your credit? How do you do this?" And I'm like, she really does it.
Right.
So how can people get their credit fixed by you if they want to call you or have your service
If they
possibly
go,
fix their credit?
Yeah, they can just go right to my website and jeannekelly.net. And on there, there's all the products that I have. And really, the best thing I think is my class that I do online, because people can do it 2 a.m, 9 a.m., whenever they want. But I take them step by step. And within 6 weeks, they'll see an improvement if they do the work. And when I say work, I'm talking an hour a week. And then they have that knowledge forever.
Right.
They'll know, you'll know what you're doing with your
Yeah,
credit.
you can't die because I got to call you forever because I didn't take your class. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
please.
I didn't mean it
Hello.
like that.
That's a pretty selfish thing to
I
say.
didn't mean
to
it
me.
like that.
Hey, you can't die because I need you. Forget your family, your kids, whoever else loves
Yourself.
you. He needs you.
Well, how's your daughter's here? How is your daughter's credit?
My daughter's credit's beautiful.
It better be.
That's right. She's a student, and I made sure at 16 I put her on as an authorized user on one of my accounts, and I taught her how to use a credit card. Like, hey, she had a job at the library. I was like, you're driving now. You're 16. Use it for gas. Pay it when the bill comes in. So she learned that way, and then when it was time to go to college, she got a secured credit card, then the store credit card. Now her American Express, and it keeps going on. And she has over a 740 FICO.
Wow.
And it better stay that way.
So you advise parents to have their child have a
Yes.
credit card and start young.
Absolutely. I mean, I think learning in your home at a young age, I just figured if she can drive, she can start learning seriously about her credit future. And also to benefit the parents, maybe we don't have to sign the student loans if they need it, or when they get out of college, not signing for that apartment because she already has a credit score and a good one. So that's a big goal of mine.
Well,
Now,
I'm
let
going
me-
to get your information because
You need help?
I think my credit's good, but I want it to be great.
Outstanding. Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Now, let me
know?
ask you, I have a couple more questions about credit.
Okay.
Now, some people say that if you have, say the credit collectors come after you, right? And you owe X amount of money, can you barter with them and get that down?
Make them a deal.
Yeah, you can settle. Now, you always have to remember when you settle an account, if it's over $600, you get $10.99, like it's income on what you saved. So you have to be careful about that. And it's fine, though, because some people, they can't pay it any other way.
Right.
So I don't love seeing settled accounts on a credit report, but if that's your way out, it's better to get it over with, pay them, and then start rebuilding from there. Because if you leave it alone and then it goes from a collection to a judgment, it just makes it worse and it makes it harder. And then there's more interest due on that debt. So if that's your way out, it's okay.
Now, is there such a thing as good debt, like having a mortgage on your house?
Of course.
Does that hurt
Healthy
your credit
credit.
because you owe so much money, or is it good because they could see you paying it every month?
Yes, it's good. It's good. Part of the FICO score, 30% is history. So seeing like a great account like that is a good thing. And when I talk about the 30% of the balances, yes, your mortgage is included, your auto loans, but not a big factor. The big factor of that part is the credit cards. That's where you can control it. So even if you have, let's say, a $50,000 auto loan, if you paid that off instead of paying off $25,000 in credit card, you'll see 1 point maybe for the installment of the auto loan.
Wow.
But if you pay down the credit cards, you'll see a big jump.
Now, what about inquiries? I know when you go to credit, if you go to let's say a dealership and they run your credit, does that mess your credit up at all?
Well, it's an inquiry, so yeah, it'll ding it a little bit.
Every dealer you go to, it'll knock your credit down?
Well, not really. If they pull it for an auto loan or a mortgage, they want you to do rate shopping. It's healthy to get the best rate. So you have a 30-day window that you can shop around.
So you can go to different dealerships and have them pull your credit.
And it'll count as one inquiry.
Okay.
As long as it's pulled for a mortgage each time they pull it correctly.
What about paying off things all at once?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't
I love
close
that
the
feeling.
credit card.
Yeah, because they
A
used
lot
to say
of
don't
times
pay.
people
They used to say
close
don't
them.
pay things off at once. They say pay it. No,
Doesn't
monthly.
matter.
No,
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And also, again, though, I have a lot of people who will all of a sudden close all those credit cards that they had. That's not a good thing. Leave them open.
Right.
Let it. That was the old way of thinking.
Gotcha.
But now, they
Just
like
don't
to
use
see.
it.
Yeah, they like to see. Hey, Jeannie has all these credit cards available, and it's helping my ratio.
Right. Last question now. On my mortgage, I always try to pay more than what I owe every month.
Yeah.
Does that matter for my credit? Is that
On
a
your
good
credit,
practice?
it doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
Yep, they don't. It doesn't matter, and that's great financially. Even though I'm not a financial expert, that's a fabulous thing. Yeah, but as far as the credit, it's just as long as it's paid on time for the mortgage, that's what's key.
Okay.
Now you have 2 books out right now. Explain these books. One is the Credit Makeover and the 90-Day Credit Challenge. What are these books about?
Well, both of them are really step by step how to help you fix your credit. And the Credit Makeover is a new one, more geared towards the women. And I just read it in a fun way. But basically, the information is always going to be
What
the
you mean
same.
a fun way, like a sexy way?
Well, making over, I'll say that. So it's just I twisted it up a little because I do so much speaking with women. And I just wanted to put a twist on the credit industry. And I have to say, it's not always great talking credit. It gets boring. So I just wanted to make it a little more fun. But the basic rules are there, though, So if between either of the books, it's really, I'm also a sports fanatic. So the 90-Day Credit Challenge is more like a game. And so it just, whatever you like better. But I'm just going to teach you about credit. And I just want I want people to not feel stuck and to have save money. I hear people talking all the time, like, I'm going on a budget, I'm doing this. Do you know your credit score? No. And I'm like, okay, well, you could be losing money if you haven't checked your credit.
Gotcha.
So it's just really important.
What should I do with this? I just got this email. I just got approved for that, right? What should I do with that?
You got approved.
What should I do
Good
with
for
that?
you.
Why not? Take it. Congratulations.
You got pre-approved for something you didn't ask for, or did you sign up for it?
No. It
I
looks like-
applied for it, but I
No,
just
you totally got it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a pre-approval.
so just treat it like a regular credit card.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
a black card?
No.
Oh.
Don't worry about that. But just treat it like a regular credit card. Got you.
Absolutely. And using credit, again, we shouldn't be afraid of it. It's a great thing when we want
I use
it.
my credit. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And I was telling our intern this also earlier. I use my American Express card, even if I have the money in the bank. I use that card for everything because I get all these points.
Of
and then I
course.
pay it off every month.
Yep.
And so that's great for me because I get a bunch of different points. So that's how I managed to buy some designer things.
Yeah.
And I get some miles, and you get some free trips and free nights in hotels. And I pay the card off instead of just using the cash directly from the bank. I use my Amex card, get my points. You know I'm cheap.
Yeah.
The last question I want to ask is trade lines. You hear that a lot. People say, no, just add trade lines and it'll help your credit. Is that true? And is that
Trade
legal?
lines are accounts.
Okay.
Trade lines are a credit card, a mortgage, an auto loan. So every time you build new credit, it depends when, healthy, with the timing, you wouldn't want to be doing it before a mortgage. But when the right time is, it's just building new credit.
But they're
That's
legal.
all.
Trade lines are legal.
Trade lines are the accounts. They
Okay.
just call it a trade line instead of a credit card, a mortgage. It's just what they call each one. It's
Gotcha.
a trade line. Yeah.
And how hard is it to get fraudulent activity off of your account if you're like, this wasn't mine?
I know. You know what? You got to roll up your sleeves and fight it out. But if it's not you, it's not you. So you may need to do a police report.
What if
it
it's
just
a family
depends.
member?
It's very
Which
diff-
happens all the
You know
time.
what? It's a sad case. It's a sad case because you're kind of stuck because you've got this family member who committed fraud. So it really,
You're going to get them locked up.
Yeah. It's
Does either
really-
get them locked up or your credit be mad or your credit be bad?
What would you do?
Get them locked up.
Damn.
What would you do, Emmy?
Get them locked up.
Dang.
It is difficult. That's a hard one, and I hate when I get those phone calls, you know. Bad enough if you're a victim and you don't know the person, but when it's a family member, again, if it's one account, maybe it's not such a big deal. It's how much, you know.
Like they open up the light bill in your name,
Yep.
and you
Yeah.
didn't know about it.
And then it goes to collection.
and then it goes to
on your
now,
credit
and you're like,
report.
I don't know what this is, and then you find out it's your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. And it does happen. But if you're paying attention, like you said, and monitoring, you could resolve it right away,
Right.
you know.
Well, we appreciate you joining us and helping the people out today.
That's right.
Thank
Go
you
get your
for
life
having
together.
me.
Tell them the website again if they can contact
Making
you.
over your credit is sexy, okay, ladies?
Tell
Yeah.
them the website again.
Jeanne Kelly. So I spell my name JeanneKelly.net.
.net. And holla at her. She'll fix your life like she fixed mine.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
That's right. It's
Thanks
the
for
Breakfast
having me.
Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.